let me start with my slides. So today I'm going to define what an agile organization means. I'm going to discuss the evergreen pillars of an agile organization, what doesn't change. There are so many things that change, but this three doesn't change. I'm going to expatiate on the models from agile PPT. You'll know what PPT means. So I've discussed what agile means. Agility doesn't have to do with age when it comes to business. It doesn't have to do with size when it comes to business. We've agreed that it has to do with the swiftness to changes, the swiftness and to responding to the dynamism in the marketplace, the swiftness to the changing of our products or adding stuff to our products based on the needs of the dynamics needs of our clients. An agile organization is an organization that is customer-centric. The organization understands the fact that they're existing because of the stakeholder called customers, and they're doing everything to keep them attracted to that organization. And by doing that, they understand where they fail. They quickly change on those failures, and they do all those things regularly without getting tired of what the client says, of what the customer says. An agile organization combines speed, that's velocity, and adaptability, that's the changes they make immediately to deliver on promises to their stakeholders. The number one stakeholder in this place, in this space that I'm going to talk about is the customer. Then you now look at the staff, then you now look at the shareholders. So an agile organization combines velocity and adaptability to deliver on promises to their customers. Business agility is much more than mindset. It's not just about having the right mindset. It must evolve from an idea in our heads as business owners, in our minds, to how we structure our business and how we operate in a way that our people do not only, have the business and the entire organization actually shows what business agility is. An agile organization is characterized with the capacity to adapt and adopt, and new approaches and meeting the needs, because the team should be able to process this information in a flexible manner. The business has to be transparent. Everybody should know what is happening. Everybody should know what is obtainable. Everybody should know what we're driving at. Everybody should be able to understand the strategic intent of the organization and the purpose. Everybody is moving people from that mindset to the ownership mindset, to that accountability mindset, and also having the capacity to understand the place of standard feedback and how to process those feedback. At the heart of organization mindset of the agile strategy is just three things. So agility is a strategy. We have the traditional business where there is hierarchy, nothing gets done until we get to see the main boss. What we're saying is in an organization that there is agility, everybody in that business understand the place where things to be changed, understand speed, understand that they need to adapt and adopt at the right time. So at the center of the strategy, I think speak on these three constant things. That's the people, that's the process, and that's the technology. Techbiz has to do with the startups that uses technology to advance the cause of humanity. So we're going to be talking about people, process, and technology beyond structure, beyond task. And at the end of the day, when I'm concluding, I'm also going to let us know some of the new things that everybody is talking about when it comes to agility. So let's look at people. Owners of business must be involved in people's management, from the hiring process to the communication of strategic purpose and intent, to measuring performance and keeping the team motivated. Your engagement with your people as a business owner shouldn't be left alone to your HRM team. Your greatest resource are the people. We all know that. Nothing gets done without the people, really. Even if you're going to replace people with robots, you still have to put some things in the robot. So you need people. And you are the person in charge to leverage the competence of your team, the character, their capacity to build an organization that you desire or the organization that you dream of. And managing human resources, building a culture, ensuring everyone has the agility mindset, and putting performance metrics in place to measure individual activities, and also aligning your culture, the culture of your organization, with their dominant mindset and belief system is a great deal. We all know that is a great deal in this fair. People are coming into your organization with a dominant logic system. This thing cannot work. Some people, some people will even tell you they tried it in time past and have failed. And you're asking a question, why did they fail? And nobody's able to give you that reason. So it is your job as an host. You can't get frustrated. I was having a conversation with a friend. We're business owners, and I said, I think one of the problems that we have in this client is the fact that business owners are lazy. And she said, well, I said, because we run our businesses on initiatives. You bring in someone and you just expect that the person knows what to do. Some people don't have JD, some people don't have KPI, some people don't even have understanding of the strategic intent of the organization, and you hire them and you're like, oh, I'm just frustrated. Yes, that frustration has just begun, because until those things are put in places where you're able to align your purpose with the people with the right experience, with the right qualification, with the right attitude, while keeping an eye on their fears and their needs, you might not be able to, the people might continue to be your problem in you achieving an agile organization. All owners of business should either build or hire consultants to put in place guiding principles for a people-oriented environment with agility and not just agility, the ownership and the accountability mindset, in their businesses. So let's look at what some of those metrics that you can use to like people as a business owner, if people are just take where you're in. So I discovered some time ago that it's just higher so important. It's like in marriage, you're also asking yourself, is this person in my future? You need to have employees. Are they my future? If I want to change the dynamics, things, if the world requires more from me, it's not about now. You should be able to check if you have the right people. Is awareness. Direction of the organization. If your business is not agile now, you need to let your people know that this is where we're going. A lot of things happened last year, and a lot of businesses actually lost it because they couldn't change their dynamics. They couldn't change their process. Our call center facility, our call center software, we had to say, how can people out of here, how can they pick their calls without coming to the office during the lockdown? The flexibility of the software was able to achieve this for us. But those are things that an average person needs to put in place now. If I don't come to the office, will my business, will my business still run? So you must be aware of the strategic goal. Your people must be aware your people must do this, and you are the one that will communicate. You have to communicate the project. Your people need to, and when you need to picture them in your future, where if you have to change the way things work, and they will follow you once they understand where you're going.
Okay, while we wait for our presenter to come back, I think there's some level of network issues there in terms of audience. I don't know if she can hear us. I still see her video, but I'm not sure if she can hear us. She's muted. She's muted, but I don't know if she can hear us. She's muted. Hello,
Okay. Okay. A process is a series of that need to happen or occur in order for us to play. And that is where in processing in place to support their decisions. That is why it's a lot of work. You know, we have this has to run on initiative as business owners. As business owners, as managers, we must have an understanding of all contributing factors before deciding to adopt new processes when we experience failure. It's
I think it's just your slide. Can you just talk without the slide? We seem to be able to see you and hear you. So can you just talk through your slide and then you can upload?
So when we talk about process, one of the ways to measure if our process is working. Okay, just to my slide.
Can you talk through while you upload the screen later. But since we can see you and hear you, can you just talk through your presentation? We'll upload the presentation later.
Okay. Okay. So what metrics that is used in order to measure quality of our process is the Lean Sigma, and I'm going to run through it. Lean Six Sigma is actually a model to promote effectiveness, to reduce waste, and to ensure that people are, people's activities are measurable. And so when you're designing standard operating procedure, to get to where you want to go as a business owner, you need to ensure you cannot down training people on what to do. You cannot just assume that they know what to do. Your job is to do the training, to teach them to be done, and to do it. You also need to provide proper instruction. You know, I keep saying that run on initiative now. When you run on initiative, you cannot even replace the
I think what we'll do is maybe you should shut your video, and then we'll start sharing your presentation from EIC. We will share your presentation, and then you can talk through, and then you can shut your video. Maybe that will help. So
okay.
The back end team of the innovation, please.
Okay, so I want to do that now.
No, you just go off your video and then we'll share your screen.
I'll go off the video now. Okay, thank you. So when it comes to okay, so let's talk about the Lean Sigma, what we need to watch out for in Lean Sigma model. You need to be able to, the first thing you need to do is to work with your customer in mind. Remember, an agile dream, you can't just build a process about what you feel like. You can't just build a process about your team alone. You need to build a process that caters for the value that is required from that business organization. You have to ensure your process delivers on the needs of your stakeholders, especially the customer. It must be able to create and enhance the values that you're delivering and what your customers desire. You need to be able to identify the pain relievers in the process that you are creating. You need to be able to identify the gain creators. You need to be able to identify what you want to achieve. Are you appealing to them emotionally or functionally with the process based on the needs of your clients? You need to be able to identify the problem. You cannot put a process in place without a proper identification of the problem. And it's not just identifying the problem. You need to identify the problem and focus on it. Don't lose focus on the problem you want to solve. Don't get carried away with activities and distractions. One has to use that problem solving and analytical tools to identify the problem and understand the fact that when you identify a problem, it is a problem because it has solution. Then you put that solution in place in your process. So I'll give you an instance. In wellness HMO, one of the problems that people tell us that they have is that they keep waiting at the hospital to get authorization code. Authorization codes are codes that we give hospitals for secondary care. So sometimes hospitals send a mail to us and we give authorization codes. Sometimes they call on behalf of the patients and we give authorization codes. What we've been able to do is we have a software now. As we're giving you the authorization code, the enrollee is receiving the authorization code on his phone as a text message, is receiving that same authorization code as an email, and the hospital is also receiving it as an email. And when that wasn't sufficient, we saw that it was still a problem. We've gone ahead to say, let's make a call. So if a person wants to give, in our SOP now, giving authorization codes, you use the software to give authorization codes, because we know that the software we give those authorization codes, it will read 3 people at the same time. The second part of it in giving authorization code is you need to call the hospital, you need to call the enrollee, and that has given us that's reduced the problem of authorization codes. I can tell you to 0.001%, and that is because we identified the problem and we were not carried away by the activities. While drawing up your processes, there could be variations, there could be bottlenecks. Remember that an agile organization is an organization that is able to reduce these bottlenecks. An agile organization is able to reduce, remove bottlenecks. They're able to check those errors and see how those errors wouldn't repeat itself, how those mistakes wouldn't repeat itself. So you must reduce all opportunities or take out all situations that makes the problem impossible to be solved. It's our job as business owners, it's our job as managers to do it. You need to identify deviations. Deviations are okay. It's okay to have errors, but it's not okay to have the errors to keep occurring. It's okay to make a mistake of the process, but it's not okay for you to leave it unattended to. You need to be able to flex. You need to be flexible enough to say that if this is not working, then we need to go back to this. You need to be able to solve them and put processes in place to avoid repetitions of errors. Another part of SOP that is very important is for us to be able to, communicate early and train members. Don't drop a standard operating procedure without sharing with your team. You need to share with your team. You need to be sure that they understand it. You need to be able to communicate the purpose of each process and the whys. You see, you can't overemphasize the whys when you are building processes. Why are we doing this? You need to be able to train your team on the process, what they stand to enjoy, what we stand to gain, what the organization is looking out to solve, and why that process needs to be followed. Don't assume they should use their initiative. I'm saying this all again. You need to remove all ambiguity. Ask questions. Is it clear? This is the direction we're going. This is how we're going to get there. Are we clear on the way on this how together? And once you have identified the why and the how, then you now tell them what to do. You cannot but train your people on that. And also, finally, you need to be flexible and responsive. You see, there was a time we said that hospitals should call us for laboratory cares. And it was creating a problem. Well, usually because it was ambiguous, we said laboratory care, all laboratory tests. So somebody has malaria, hospital will call us that they want to do tests. We had to now change and remove it. We had to drill down. Hospitals, please don't call us for primary care laboratory tests. And that solves it. Because when you just put it like that, it's ambiguous. It's not, even though it wasn't our intention was they shouldn't call us for those advanced tests. And they should call us for those advanced tests. They should know that malaria is normal. No, you cannot assume. You cannot assume in building a process that works and you want that process to reduce wastages. You need to be clear. The language has to be clear. Ambiguity has to be removed, because you're not the only one that is going to use the tool. Other people are going to use it for you. So an agile organization does not insist on a formula that is not working. or a formula that is suboptimal. Entrepreneurs do not approach life with one recipe. So if you draw up a process and the process is not working, your job is to go back to the drawing table and know the why is not working and profile a new solution that can make it work. So an agile organization do not insist on, oh, this is a process. And when that process fails, you're still saying that's the process. And your team, that's why I said it's not just about how agile the owners are. Your team they need to have that agility mindset as well, to know that if there's a problem, this is how we troubleshoot, this is how we escalate, this is the temporary solution that we give, and this is the permanent solution that will be given. So your team needs to be empowered to be able to do that. So let's look at technology. So I have an experience with technology some time ago. And, everybody wants technology. Some people came to market me and said, there's this technology for insurance, if I want to use it and all that. And I said, the present technology is meeting my needs. If it does not meet my need, I will. And they said, oh, but some people have technology and they don't use it. I said, no, I'm not going to have a technology because it's nice to have, or because I want to boast to someone that I've spent this amount of money on technology. Technology needs to solve a problem. If it's not simplifying a process, if it's not solving a problem, there is no need for that technology. And most times companies make an investment in technology without initially looking at the problem that is required to be solved. Someone comes and tells you there's a solution, and you just take it like that. That guy doesn't know your business. That guy is just a developer. He doesn't know your business. You know your business, and you need to be able to ask the right questions to ensure that technology is solving that questions. What technology has helped organizations to leverage, we know it's a leveler based on all its abilities and possibilities. Technology alone cannot solve your problem. It cannot make existing problems go away without the people and process around to support it. And sometimes when we're also trying to deploy a new technology to our people who can tell us that it's the technology that is the problem. Yes, sometimes technology can be the problem if you are trying to retrofit the people and the process. So you have not seen the problem the technology is solving. And because you have spent so much money, you are now like, we must use this technology because I've spent so much money. Technology will not solve that problem if you have not identified the problem the technology is coming to solve for you. It won't work. You need to be able to know the impact of the technology that you want to deploy. Will it make us do things faster? Will it give more value? We have a technology that we deployed in wellness HMO. And before we had this technology, when clients ask us that they want to check their utilization ratio, it could take my team like 3 weeks when the client has over 4,000 enrollees. So I said, this can't work. I need to know what our companies are doing without waiting for someone to compute the Excel sheet for 3 weeks. So the third technology was deployed to solve that, amongst other things. So now if I say, so what's the utilization ratio of this organization? Within the next 1 hour, I'm getting my results. In fact, the only reason why I might not get my results immediately is if the internet is not enough to support the crunching of the data that is meant the software is able to give to me. So you need to have identified the problem that you want technology to solve, or the hardship that the technology wants to make simpler, or the process that the technology needs to make faster. If all these things are not identified, you might begin to have a problem with struggling for your people to use that technology compulsorily. So we have an ERP in the business, and there was a time my team was like, this ERP does not work, this ERP is this ERP, something just disappear, everything. I said, it's okay, so let's look at it. What do we want to solve with the ERP? We agreed. What do we enjoy with when we agreed? And I said, okay, so go and bring in different vendors, let them come and do a demo for us. Because we have identified what we wanted to solve. By the time all of those people brought in their demo and they told us what they are trying to do, they came back and said, I think we should stick with what we have. And it's because before you deploy technology, you should be sure that the technology you are going to leverage with that technology. And also you need to pay, attention to the ease of implementation and the cost of implementation. Sometimes the cost is beyond Naira and Kobo. It's not how much you spend to get it done most times. Last year when we deployed the software for vetting of bills, we said, okay, when the January bills come, that's when we'll start using it. So January bills came in February. By February, you know the way it is, people are like, it's not working, is this, is that. The complaints were enormous. We kept changing things. We kept the flexibility, kept looking at the flexibility of the software and how we can get it done. But by the time it was March 20 something, COVID-19 was already affecting the whole world, and there was a shutdown. So the business, everybody had to go home. There was total lockdown. Nobody was coming to the office. And when we came back in May, we started processing January claims. At May, providers were already impatient with us. We had to write letters. We had to beg. That cost was the service to the business, because there were service failures, because we're not able to process providers' bills on time. We had even some organizations telling us that we have to pay for that 4 months or 5 months in which we delay their payments. So the cost of implementation is very important. What do you stand to lose? What do you stand to gain in deploying that technology? So if you're using a technology right now and the technology is not providing any hits for you, then you need to give it a thought. In deploying technology, let's look at some of the factors. I know a lot of people on this timeline are tech people, and you know this. But for me, your stakeholders' values must be at the center of your decision. Yes, your stakeholder, you need to be, we already said that an agile organization is a customer-centric organization. You need to be able to deliver value, and it must be at the center of the goal of the technology you're deploying. It must contribute to customer retention. It must be able to contribute to your sales, to your productivity, to your ease of doing business, to your flexibility, to your dynamism. You must be able to prove to shareholders that this technology is going to take us, is a leveler. This technology is going to increase our ROI. This technology is going to help our customers, reach out to us more. It's going to make our customers trust us more. So those are things that you should check before you're using your technology. And if you're already using an existing technology, you can query that technology based on this. Is it just a nice to have, or is it really solving a problem? You should ensure that the technology simplifies the process. So while someone is trying to tell you trying to build a software or deploy something, a technology that you want to use in your business, you should have gone through the problems you have and see which of them the technology is solving. Make it simplify the process. It must be designed for flexibility and speed. There is always a back and forth and all that one might have to go through when a new technology is deployed. But the person building it must be able to do that from the beginning. The person must have an idea of what you want, must have an idea of your value system, and have an idea of what you wish to do with that technology. It must be designed for flexibility and speed. If human beings will do something in 3 hours, let the technology do it for me in 25 minutes. At least I know that, okay, I'll put my money in the right place, and ensure you choose the right partner. So, when you talk about the right partner, sometimes I know everybody is as good as a contract is as good as the person that you sign it with. So if you have someone that is impatient, that doesn't like correction, that is egocentric, that hates feedback, and even though you've signed a contract with that person, because you don't share the same value and trust, you might not get a good deal out of the technology that person is deploying. So you need to ensure that you choose the right partner before you deploy any technology. For an organization that wants to be agile, you need to you can't just choose. You can't just let someone just deploy something without getting to know if that person will be there during thick and thin, during rain and sunshine for you. You can't just do that. So to have an agile organization, what is the status of your technology that you have deployed right now? And if you're thinking of deploying anyone, you should make sure that this technology meets this. It should make your job easier. If it's complicating issues for you, then it's not the right technology. So in conclusion, I'm going to say that for an organization to be agile, that organization must be able to achieve balance of the people, of the process, of the technology to remain agile. It might not be an equal balance, just like we don't have, and we said it was work-life balance before. Now we said it's life balance, and we said life cannot be balanced. It depends on at the stage of your life. Something will go for something, a part of something will have to suffer for one to try. What we're saying that is that none should suffer so much, So no organization should lose the capacity to adopt changes. No organization should lose flexibility to integrate the mindset and culture and processes that works. And importantly, when we're leveraging on technology, we should think of the problem the technology will solve before, leveraging on it. And we should not by any means think that technology will solve our problems solely. Technology alone cannot solve your problem. The human beings and the process are needed to work together with the technology for problems to be solved. Now that we have we have other dynamics that promote agility, and I'm also going to share with you that data is a big deal in promoting agility. We know that I know people on Techbiz have done a lot of data. Everybody's saying data is the big money. Yes, data is the big money. Data is the new money. Data helps you to analyze, to make informed decisions. And so apart from the three legs that I've talked about, the people, the process, and the technology, data is another big deal. Is the fourth leg that is being considered now as a tool to make organization agile. So it's not just about having the data. A lot of us gather data as we do our businesses, but what are we doing with those data? Are we analyzing this data? Are we making informed decisions with those data? It is very important for us. And the other part, the other leg is the passion. So you have the people, they have the character, yes, they have the competences, and they have the capacity. If they don't have the passion for growth and excellence, you might not be able to have an agile organization. So if you're looking out for all those, are they aware? Do they have the desire to grow? Do they have the knowledge of what we want to achieve? You also need to check right now that they have the passion. Do they have the passion to lead you to where to fulfill the strategic intent of the organization? So let's integrate our people, our process, and our technology in the way we efficiently handle our information and resources within the organization. Let's build the processes, not just in our heads. Let it be documented. I want everybody on this platform to know that if it's not documented, then we've had a lot of things about the faintest pencil is sharper than the brightest brain and all that. Those things are true. You need to document it. So one of the reasons why we fail sometimes too is because we positions are based on initiatives. So when this guy leaves, he does not even remember to hand over everything he's doing. But if those things are written down, you can use the SOP to now tell the other person what to do. Things have to be written down. It should be documented. It must be your processes must be documented, from talent management to communication of strategic intent to the kind of technology that is used and how those technology is used. It has to be documented and kept safely so that we can also achieve our strategic purpose and to remain relevant and agile in the new world. So in conclusion, in the word of James Highsmith, he said, agility is the ability to adapt and respond to change. Agile organizations view change as an opportunity and not a threat. So some people have viewed COVID-19 as an opportunity and they are cashing out, while some people are seen as a threat and they are limited in the decisions they make. And Charles Darwin also stated that, just like the Bible said, that the race is not for the swift and the battle is not for the strong. He's saying that it's not the strongest of the species that survive. It's not the most intelligent most times, but that's one person that is responsive to change and adaptable in his nature, and keeps reinforcing the attitude that works. Those are the people that are going to remain relevant in the new world. Thank you very much for having me. I would like to take questions.
Adetutu Afolabi for that session. We sincerely apologize to all the people in the house for the huge challenges we had with our network from that end. We do hope that we can still get the recordings and make the slides available. By noon tomorrow, everything should be available. And my colleagues are dropping again in the chat box, www.ecoicenter.com/webinar. You will find this particular recording and the presentation on the slide. Please feel free to go through it. I mean, it's the environment to play. Technology has become a big issue, but for us to accelerate, we hope that our innovators, some of them also in this house, will be able to help us solve some of these issues. Thank you very much for Adetutu for your session, and I think it was quite enlightening. Three key things we bring up. For you to be agile, at the heart of agility, you need fantastic processes documented. You need the right people, okay, who have the right ownership, the right attitude, the right culture. You need the technology that works for you and is solving the problems of your organization. There is the cost of onboarding technology. It's not just to adopt a technology. What is the cost of adoption? And is it solving the question of your business? The question you are strongly trying to solve, is it solving it? Is it helping to resolve it? Okay. And she said something about your process. Is it flexible? Okay. Is it ambiguous? I know for many people, the more complicated we think it is, the better we think it is. But no, it needs to be flexible. You need to know when to pilot. You need to know when to, change direction, when to course correct. Those are critical things that needs to come up in the process. And of course, she said quite a lot. And at the heart of all this is the fact that if you put these three things together, and that's why I said it's very relevant for us in this ecosystem and in the startup world, these three things of technology, of your people, and of course, your processes to a large extent defines your ability to develop and grow an agile organization that is able to survive. So that you don't become like a dinosaur and you go extinct or you lose steam and you fade away. You need to make sure your organization stays agile. I don't know, are there questions in the chat room? I'm checking now. I've not seen so many questions. But yes, if it's not documented, it's not done. That's it. What you don't document, what you don't measure, doesn't get done, okay? Are there questions in here before we go on? I mean, for everyone, again, thank you so much. While you're putting your questions, we apologize for the network issue. It's Eco Innovation Center again, and this is our webinar platform, Techbiz, which seeks to empower organizations that use innovation and technology at the core of their operations. That's our obsession. And we want to help these organizations move from ideation, move from concept to commercialization. And that's why we set up a platform like Techbiz, where we bring professionals for all walks of life to come and who understand the business of technology to come share with us from their wealth of knowledge, things that can allow us be able to go better in this journey, handhold us in this journey, equip us to be able to move our organizations from just ideation and concept to commercialization and begin to solve the big problems in society. And we're glad that this evening again, we've been able to share again on the topic of building an agile organization. I'm still trying to see the chat box, but I think we do not have so many questions coming at this time. And I want to say thank you again for everyone that's been a part of it. Do feel free to go back. This is the 56th episode of Techbiz, our webinar series coming from the staple of the Eco Innovation Center, an accelerator located in 50 Awolowo Road, Lagos, and sharing these and broadcasting across the world to people who play in the ecosystem. Eco Innovation Center is focused in 5 basic areas: market access, healthcare, renewable energy, agriculture, and technology. Of course, those are the 3 areas where we are focused, and we like to continuously be of support and of encouragement and to continue to equip players in the tech ecosystem. I think we're not having so many questions today, maybe because we have quite a lot more technology each, and I'm hoping that we should be able to fix that. I do look forward again, and thank you very much, Adetutu, for your session. We think for all of us to be able to survive, we need to make sure our organizations stay agile. I want to use this opportunity again to thank everyone who has logged in, who has been a part of this Techbiz series, and who continuously log in every Thursday, week in, week out, to be a part of what we're doing. We do not take it for granted. Eco Innovation Center appreciates everyone, and we'll continue to do our best to make sure the information is available and that we provide those platforms and the know-how that will allow the journey a lot easier for startups in this environment. I remain again your host, the founder of Eco Innovation Center. I remain Victor Afolabi, and I look forward again to hosting every one of you and your friends next week, 5 p.m., where we'll bring you another episode of Techbiz series. And I promise you, it's going to be another explosive session where there will be a lot to learn and that we can be properly equipped and have the right information that can allow us better navigate the terrain of entrepreneurship in the technology space. Thank you very much for joining us. You can still join our community, the Techbiz community on Telegram. It's been sent into the chat room. Just please feel free and be a part of it. There are a lot of information we share there. There are a lot of support that you can get if you're a part of that. Please make sure you join us and ask questions as you go through all the 56 episodes of the webinars. If you have any question, drop it in there, and our backup team and all our facilitators will be there to provide help for you. And of course, like I said again, I will repeat, the webinar is www.ecoicenter.com/webinar. You can find all the 56 episodes. Do feel free to go there and to study and to get yourself equipped. We appreciate every one of you, and I look forward to hosting you again next week, Thursday, where we're going to have another episode of Techbiz series. Do have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, and have a good evening, everyone.